listening to the Mary Jane Society podcast, where you will meet entrepreneurs, cultivators, scientists, doctors, and inventors in the cannabis industry.
I'm your host, Pam Schmiel, a marketer and publicist in the cannabis industry. I can be reached at pam@themaryjanesociety.com if you'd like to explore working together. Today we meet Kirsten Velasco, the inventor of VapeNProp, one of the first cannabis-themed products to enter the promotional products category. It's a vape pen accessory that holds your pen upright to keep it safe from leaks, clogs, and dropping and breaking. Kirsten is running out of the gate with her first customer as Curaleaf. Curaleaf is celebrating 420 by giving away VapeNProps as gifts in their Ohio, North Dakota, Pennsylvania, and Illinois stores. Kirsten talks about her journey in inventing, designing, and launching VapeNProp. Let's meet Kirsten.
To see what inspired you to invent your product. So you pivoted from in the medical community and working with the medical cannabis card issuers. And so you pivoted to create this product that would hold vape pens, and it's called VapeNProp.
Correct. And there's one or two things about them. If you don't keep them upright, then the oil pools on the side of the cartridge and it's not down by the heating element next to the battery. And I literally taught myself 3D design to solve that problem. And as things evolved, the next thing that happened after I got it really figured out how to hold your typical cylinder batteries upright, then all of the odd shaped batteries and all-in-one disposable units started coming out. And I'm like, well, back to the drawing board. And so I really, really worked on making it very flexible for the different sizes and for even the various shapes that they have. So as things evolved and you pivot, and I said to myself, oh, wouldn't a company really like to have their logo converted into a 3D file so that their logo is what you're looking at, and then in the center, their vape pen is being held up. See, I've got my little show and tell display. So this is a Bloom pen, super popular here. And then this is their logo, and I have added to it.
Oh, I see.
And so anytime anybody looks at their pen, safe and ready for use, not lost, leaked, clogged, or broken, there it is, beautiful. You can leave it right on and take an inhalation and put it right back down. And it's really just beautiful to look at. So I'm like, this is it. This is a great product. So I pivoted to making a basic shape puzzle, so cute, so fun, and leaving a space in order to add just their word mark or a logo. And those two things were happening simultaneously, where I was learning the 3D design and seeing its value as a product direct to consumer. And then I realized, hey, in order to move a quantity that actually legitimizes the business, it really should be promotional merchandise. And I felt like it was starting to really press my own personal creative and entrepreneurial buttons. And then because I was really finding that, this is again back to me just wanting to care for things. If you proactively, as a business, provide a VapeNProp, you are building your brand loyalty while preventing loss, leaks, clogs, and breaks, and getting peak performance out of those expensive vape pens. And, flower is definitely still about 60% of the overall market of different devices and options. Vaping has gone from 19 to 23% share of the market in 1 year. And in like 10 years, expect to be 3.5 times that size.
So basically you're targeting companies to use as a product giveaway, or so for promotional merchandise, which I think is really great. But anyway, I just wanted to kind of emphasize exactly what you're going for this product.
Correct. High quantity distribution as promotional merchandise, because it does that proactive prevention of disappointment with those newer vape products, especially with the new consumers. With the people who actually come directly to me and buy one of my whimsical designs, they've already experienced the loss, leaks, clogs, and breaks that can happen with vape devices. They'll just roll into a crack and disappear. And when they see my VapeNProp, they're like, "Ooh, I really need that." So that sends off the signal, oh, companies are receiving brand damage. You know how hard it is to build up brand loyalty in our industry. It's incredible how quickly new brands come on the market. And it is just so important to build that brand loyalty and protect it. So if someone's going home from your dispensary, even though you didn't have anything to do with making that vape, if someone has that loss, they are going to associate that with their purchase they had with you. So I consider it to be a phenomenal opportunity for building brand loyalty and protecting it once it's built.
Right. So for those again who can't see, it's a platform that sits on your desktop, and the vape pen fits snugly in the platform to keep it upright for the reasons Kirsten's saying. So just wanted to
Correct. The vertical position is best.
right, vertical, yeah, okay.
And
Okay.
also, once I've been giving these out, people hit me up and they say, "Oh, I'm using that for my hot knife. My parents use that for their one hitters."
So you invented this product using a 3D model, blah, blah, blah. And then you did you test it in the market first? Did you get a prototype made? And how
Right.
did
Because I've been going at this so early on, I felt really lucky that 3D printing was an option.
oh, you did
And
it
most
3D.
3D printing at that time was done in a plastic filament that was hard plastic. And I needed something flexible so that it would accommodate the different sizes and then hold tight to whatever a person put in it so that it can stay attached, lift for an inhalation, and put it right back down safe and sound. And I was so blessed that I was able to find a guy in Arkansas, Hudson Creative Group. Shout out to Justin. He's been with me all these years, almost 10 years. And as my designs improved, his ability to print with that flexible filament improved. And this guy is unbelievable with the detail that he can get on the designs that he sends me. It is absolutely phenomenal. So that gave me the ability to learn how to make the designs functional and fun. And then it was time to pull the trigger and go with an injection mold product, which is just, it's so interesting because I had been looking to have, mass manufacturing so that the product price would be more reasonable per unit. And once you pull a trigger on an injection molded product, that's it. You know what I'm saying? You have to quit changing your design. So I had to be really sure about the puzzle piece that I just did and make sure that the holders on it were fantastic. So I tried to work with people here in the United States because really I felt like the only other option was jumping into Alibaba. And I feel like that's just sort of a blind ocean that you're jumping into. But I came up empty with everybody who I talked to in the United States about getting this done for me, like literally ghosted.
It's
So
hard.
I took the leap. God bless my husband. That guy has been behind me no matter the crazy streets I drive him down.
Crazy streets I drive them down.
It's true, literally.
I
And
know. I can
so
relate.
we jumped in with Alibaba and the service was phenomenal. Everything they said was true. Everything came earlier. And I was able to literally just this week apply the imprint to the injection molded product. And they are just now arriving for 420 merchandise all throughout 5 states. So this is really just that moment when we're going to get that big splash and see the ripples go out from that. And then when people get to interact with this fun product and they get to do fun different things with it, I really think the allure is going to come through, especially when you can connect the puzzle pieces to create a customized organizational storage for all your devices.
So, okay, so you're hitting the market as this is the first time you're getting into the market for 420, and I know
Yes,
you have a really important deal that launched you with Curaleaf. The Curaleaf stores are going to launch your product as a promotional piece. Is it a giveaway or is it just
yes.
a demo in the store?
It's a giveaway for their 420 week promotions.
Okay, so you put the Curaleaf logo on the VapeNProp for them. So okay, that's cool. So that's amazing. So I would love to talk about that as far as how did you pull that off as your first first store. I mean, that's quite a launch. I
It
mean,
is up until now, I have done some medium quantity that were all 3D printed, and that went fantastic. So back to how I actually pulled this off. Chicago, live very close to Chicago, and I call that the primordial goo from which sprang the world's biggest cannabis companies. So
mm,
I have been out there beating the streets, showing up, working so hard, trying to make my way. And yes, the connections that I built really came through for me. So I continued to show up and meet people and network.
mm,
And something I think that people will relate to is like, hey, I've got some leads at this great company. And then you contact them, and 6 months later, you get an email back that says that person has moved on. So
mm,
sometimes you work so hard for leads only to have them cut. Now, I had managed to make a connection with someone who worked at Curaleaf. He loved my product and he told such a beautiful story about it. And I felt like it was really a beautiful nugget that explains VapeNProp. And I had created some custom samples of them for him. And he said his boyfriend saw it at the apartment, took it home, and the boyfriend was like, huh, that's stupid. And then the very next day he came out and he goes, yeah, I was wrong. That is really cool. So it's like when you first see it, it might be like, oh, I don't need that. I don't have it already. If it was something important, it would already exist. But then once you engage with it and interact with it, you're like, yeah, that is actually serving a really good purpose, many purposes. So I connected with him. He got laid off, but he had already infused his boss, who they had such a great relationship, infused her with the love of VapeNProp. And so that extra connection, and she just got promoted up to head of marketing for Curaleaf. And it was really her determination. She's like, I'm going to get that product. So honest to God, it's just like a heavenly open door that was through a lot of hard work, but it
yeah.
was really 100% that she was going to stick her neck out for me. So I
Yeah,
tell you,
yeah, it takes a lot of hard work and hustle in this industry, but that's what I think is really cool about your story is, I mean, a lot of us know that hustle and we're all doing it. And I'm just so glad to see that you're breaking through and you're getting this opportunity. And I think it's a great product, promotional product for an industry. And I also love to see the innovation that's coming out of the industry and how we're conforming to what we need now that we're going that cannabis is going mainstream. And so that's kind of like what I want to highlight is not only you pounding the pavement and getting out there, but I love, the creativity and resourcefulness that you used to start with 3D printing. I completely forgot about the uses of that, to just to start to kick off your business. And then now you're manufacturing in China and now you have this great, MSO that you're working with. So I hope that, that goes well. But then I will also want to ask you, I know that you also have a patent on the product and just wanted to ask you, uh, I guess the process of that or the pros and cons and why you chose to go for a patent.
mhm. I'm so glad you wanted to ask me this, and I'm so excited to talk about it because my experience from 20 years past influenced my decisions. And what I say about a patent is they are absolutely useless unless you have the resources to enforce it.
Mm,
And what you really do have with an innovative product is first to market, first to product, up to profit. And then what you can do if you really want to fight any copycats is run at a loss, so you make it non-lucrative for them to copy you. Now let's go back to, I actually went through with getting a patent. I had gotten a patent for a hair appliance organizational device years and years ago. Phenomenal product, but it never took hold. There was no internet back at that time. So imagine, making phone calls to company and trying to contact them and send out PR packages. It was just like covered wagon days, honestly.
Yeah.
And what I found was that companies would say, well, we're in the hair appliance industry, so we're not interested in your hair appliance organizational product. And then in the organizational space, they would be like, yeah, we don't do hair. That's not our market. So you see, I was sliding into this open space that wouldn't get picked up by either interested party. And then there's another factor that needs to be considered amongst all of everybody's great ideas is, can it be packaged? Is it lightweight and durable? Can you look at it on a shelf and understand what it is? Is it easy to package? So there are so many things that play into the ability of your new product to be successful that you might not want to think about, or that might play in as a factor of like education and understanding of your product that you really have to factor into the success. So when I had all of my past experience with inventing and kept on focusing on VapeNProp, I'm like, it's small, it's easy to ship, it's easy to understand. I can move high quantity products. It's whimsical. It has collectability allure. And so it really clicked off all those boxes. And when I was doing my preliminary work where I was promoting this direct to consumer, so many people said, did you get a patent for this? And I would say,
Wow.
thank you so much for thinking that my product is worthy of being copied. I mean, the biggest compliment is having somebody else go through the hassle of getting their business started, and they have to invest in that when it's actually your idea. So, and nobody loves your idea like yourself, right? So as people kept on saying to me, oh, I hope you got a patent on that, I'm like, oh God, I'm going to have to get a patent on this because it really will burn my ass if I don't get it and somebody immediately comes out and copies it, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I was very blessed through my networking again to talk to a person who lived further away from Chicago in a more rural area. And the price, I'm telling you, was a third or less of what I would have paid downtown Chicago. And sometimes a patent attorney take you for a ride. You end up paying $30,000.
Yeah.
So I had a wonderful patent attorney, did a phenomenal job with understanding what was unique and patentable in my product. And another thing about the difference between 20 years ago and this time is you get to go onto the website at the US Patent Trade Office, and you can do extensive patent searches to make sure the product that you're trying to patent isn't already on their books, because you don't want to go in there and have something that's already exactly what your product is. A great way to search. And then of course you Google, because there's a lot of things that are not patented and you just have to search and search and search. So another step that I could take was to apply for what's called a provisional patent status all on my own for a small fee at the government office. So sure, it's a government website, so it's not super easy, but you create your account, you follow the steps step by step. And I was able to really get through a major important part that would protect my product. And there is something about trademarks where once I studied that aspect, I felt like the usage and the reputation that is gained from your own public exposure of your trademark is actually your trademark. So do you see how I didn't apply for any trademarking? I thought about it. I've done it before at a state level, but once I really read more deeply into it, you are legally covered based on how long and how prevalent your own trademark is.
So, you mean you're talking about your logo, trademarking your logo?
Mhm.
So you're saying you did not need a trademark because I'm saying, say it again, if you have a logo.
And you use it consistently and your product is known by it and it has lots of public exposure,
Oh,
that
that's
in
good
and of
enough.
itself is a legal protection.
Oh, because you have the record, like the public record, kind of like a paper trail. Oh,
Mhm.
okay. That's really good, interesting.
Right. And I'm not a lawyer, and I'm sure there are other cases where people will want to go forward with that type of protection. But considering a lot of us are in that entrepreneurial startup, bootstrap your own cash, and you really have to think hard about where you're going to spend your money. And I'm naturally Midwestern conservative that way, and I don't want to be in debt. So that was how I justified saying I'm just going to really promote and utilize my logo and have that be the substantiation of my trademark.
And also the patent on the actual, shape and, and utility of your product to me is more important, or, more important than the protecting the logo as a
Yeah.
trademark, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's, yeah, so that's cool. And then I guess kind of wrapping it up, what is the future? What are you thinking? I know you just kind of came out of the gate, but are you looking for funding, a joint venture partnership? What is the future? What do you hope to happen with VapeNProp?
I am very much grinding away, looking for massive expansion and to launch international sales.
Ooh.
It's perfectly reasonable that I can have the same product shipped from China to America or China to Spain, have the logo put on and distributed to local countries in the EU there. So that's our next step. Now, it is my dream that will manifest that a promotional merchandise company will add this to their catalog, and therefore they will be my direct connect.
Ah.
And when I have talked to big distributors in the smoke shop and cannabis realm, they say when the purchasers look at our catalog of items, they need to be able to look at that, know what it is, and just add it on to their order. So me breaking through with a massive order direct as an independent entrepreneur with a massive company, Curaleaf, that normally just goes with a massive budget right to a promo merch company, has
Yeah.
their logo slapped on and everything and delivered 1, 2, 3. It was really important for me to have, and I hope to have many more, other large companies making high quantity purchases and distributing them as promotional merchandise, because that is the component that will make it so well known that Hayes Brands, a massive distributor, will be able to add this to their catalog, and their sales reps will take this out and move this. And there's lots of other cannabis specific promotional merchandise companies. They will add it on. And I've had the luck of connecting with the global head of sales for Bamco, which is a massive promotional merchandise company. They were the company that put together that Super Bowl ad with the Dunkin' Donuts and Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, and J-Lo. So that's
Oh,
their recent claim to fame. If you
gee,
look that
that's
up,
pretty big.
yeah, that's a pretty big deal. So I was able to connect with them. And this guy is like, we do this stuff blindfolded. We do it in our sleep. So I am making those inroads so that I can get past this next threshold and then start doing just massive distribution and make sure that it is super well known. Now, the hook, as I have mentioned, is collect and connect. Cannabis consumers are obsessed with accessories. Like I buy a device and I think it's the living end and I love it so much. And in 3 or 4 weeks, I'm like, ooh, there's something new out. I want to see if that battery is stronger or more long lasting, etc. So initially with VapeNProp, imagine saying, oh, hey, where did you get that? And it's like, hey, you can't get it. They gave it away as promotional merchandise and it's all gone. So I created that allure. And then once someone gets one and they know, oh, it's a puzzle piece, I can connect these. it's going to trigger that allure for collecting these and making a bigger collection with all the different brands that you've been exposed to. And imagine at a conference and you get to promote out that there are only 4 exhibitors that have VapeNProp. And if you collect all 4 and post that on social media, you get an additional original thing sent to you. And that way we get that little like desire to run around and collect. So when we have the allure very established, then we convert to it's the standard expected promotional merchandise. Lighter is to flower what VapeNProp is to devices. Does that make sense? Like everybody gets a lighter, everybody loves a lighter, but what do the device users get? So it gives that distinctive differentiator, to use some buzzwords, that once we get to that point and the vaping becomes even more popular, people will buy a vape and they'll be like, hey, instead of do you have a lighter, do you have a VapeNProp for this?
Yeah, and then also I just wanted to point out, as far as your international expansion ideas, since you're already in with Curaleaf, Curaleaf is one of the biggest companies that are already in, that have already made inroads into Europe. And I believe they just partnered with a vape company. I know some of the European companies over there, the extractors, are partnering with the vape companies because, strangely enough, or maybe not strangely enough, in the medical, because everything's starting out with medical, smoking flower is not allowed. Like in France, they're not allowing it, so so first, I think coming out of the gate are going to be our tinctures, oils and vapes. So Curaleaf in international. So
thank you for throwing gas on my fire and helping me to understand the true opportunity there in the EU. And then we have Germany, who just threw the switch like nothing. And I think Curaleaf is right up in there in Germany as well.
Yeah, Curaleaf is one of the top 3 companies that have a foothold in Germany right now. But also, I know they're positioned in Portugal. They, I think, have the strongest position even over the Tilray, or I forgot the parent company of Tilray now. But anyway, Curaleaf, I think, is the strongest EU, is the most infiltrated or, integrated into the EU infrastructure right now. So.
I mean, if Curaleaf really knows what's up, they might want to just make a purchase offer for VapeNProp.
They know what's up. If they know what's good for them,
I can manifest.
Anyway, Kirsten, it was great seeing you again, and I think I'm so excited for you. And I loved, like I said, seeing like these new products innovating in the marketplace and how we're all adapting and adjusting, and how you're down there with the grit and being, bootstrapping it. And, I don't know, maybe you really don't need a joint venture partner, because it sounds like you're taking off, and, people should start contacting you right now.
That's right. That's right. And listen, I want all the goodwill that I can possibly build up. Anybody that who's connected to an opportunity, please let me know. I can believe how the universe put us together right there at the Botanica Club in Barcelona at Spanibus. It was incredible. It was like the universe said, oh, these 2 need a little buddy for their little field trip. Yeah, it was kismet. And that foxy lady that we shared a J over, that was